There were walls that seemed eternal, traditions that no one dared to question, a city convinced it was safe, protected by God and by history itself. Yet beneath that sense of security, something invisible was accumulating: corruption, violence, illusions. In this world on the brink of collapse, a voice began to emerge, not to reassure, but to warn, not to unite, but to disturb. To understand why it became so feared, one must first grasp the era that desperately sought to ignore it. Its prominence did not come from miracles or victories, but from the painful consistency of its message. Every word spoken went against prevailing opinions, political power, and religious security, attracting hostility, ridicule, and persecution. Behind this voice stood neither a king nor a military leader. This is Travel in History, where every mystery has a story and every story hides a deeper secret. Join us as we explore strange facts, dark legends, and the questions no one dares to ask. If you're curious, brave, and love a good mystery, you're in the right place. Subscribe and let the journey begin. It came from a priestly family in Anathoth, a small village near Jerusalem, far from grand palaces, yet deeply rooted in worship and tradition. His father, Hilkiah, belonged to the priestly line, which meant growing up immersed in the scriptures, rituals, and sacred law as an integral part of daily life. From his mother, whose name the tradition has not preserved, he received an equally rigorous upbringing, shaping a sensitivity that was attentive, fragile, yet determined. In this context, something unexpected occurred, a youthful calling that brought not excitement, but fear. He did not feel ready, nor worthy, yet the response was clear. This voice was neither an accident nor a mistake. It had been prepared before birth and rendered inevitable in the most fragile historical moment. He was not asked to choose, but to obey. Thus began a path offering no honor or protection, only the certainty of speaking what had to be said, even when no one would listen. His childhood was orderly, structured by the rhythms of religious duties and respect for tradition. He learned to listen more than to speak, to observe what others ignored. In that silence, something developed that had no name yet. The calling meant renouncing a normal life, a quiet priestly career, perhaps even a family, and above all, exposing himself, becoming visible and vulnerable. From that moment, nothing remained neutral. Every word had consequences. Every action became a symbol. His early acts were primarily words, public speeches, repeated warnings, vivid images to shake consciences. He spoke against religious hypocrisy and the illusion that the temple could protect a people who had betrayed their values. The more he persisted, the more hostility grew. Friends, relatives, even his own village began to distance themselves. Becoming a prophet did not bring prestige, only solitude. Yet, despite the increasing burden, that voice continued to be heard, as if silence had become impossible. His calling was no accident. According to the scriptures, he was destined for this mission before birth. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. Not a privilege, but a grave responsibility, to speak truth when no one wanted to hear it. What he did was not merely to prophesy events, but to testify to an imminent collapse. He warned kings, priests, and the people that disobedience to God would bring the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. He did not speak in abstract ideals, but of tangible realities: invasions, deportations, famines. Be strong and speak whatever I command you. Jeremiah 1:17. His message went beyond prophecy. He also conveyed the profound suffering of the people and individual responsibility. He showed how corruption and injustice bore real consequences, shaking consciences with words and symbolic actions. He carried a wooden yoke to demonstrate that submission to Babylon would be inevitable. Jeremiah 27, 2-3. It was not merely verbal prophecy. His life itself became language, impossible to ignore. Over time, the weight of speaking became nearly unbearable. The temptation to remain silent, to retreat, was real. I said, "I will not mention him. I will not speak any more in his name." Jeremiah 29. Yet, immediately after, his heart betrayed his will. But in my heart there was a fire, shut up in my bones. I was weary of holding it in, and I could not. Jeremiah 29. Speaking was no longer a choice, but a painful necessity. Persecution became concrete. Arrests, threats, imprisonment, insults, abuse. He sought no glory, only truth. "O Lord, you deceived me, and I was deceived. You overpowered me and prevailed." Jeremiah 27. Humility, anger, pain, the humanity of one who bore an impossible burden. When Jerusalem fell, there was no triumph, only grief. The city that seemed eternal was sacked, the temple destroyed, the people deported. The Lamentations convey his gaze upon the ruins. How lonely sits the city that was full of people. Lamentations 1:1. And, "My eyes fail from weeping, my stomach churns." Lamentations 2:11. He spoke not as a victor, but as a shattered witness, proclaiming the inevitable. What truly sets him apart is the combination of uncomfortable truth, perseverance, and symbolic creativity. His life itself was prophecy. Understanding Jeremiah means grasping that being a prophet is not predicting the future, but bringing reality into the consciousness of those who refuse to see. For this reason, his name is still remembered today, not because he brought victory, but because he embodied the courage to speak what no one wanted to hear, the weight of truth, and the sacrifice of a life entirely dedicated to what was right, even when it seemed pointless. In the next episode, we will explore the life and message of Prophet Ezekiel. If you know more or have theories, let us know in the comments. We read them all. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more mysteries like this one.